This is your host and founder, CEO, Andre Wicks. Today we're sitting down with Melissa Harvey. Melissa is principal at Bobby Summers Middle School, and she discusses her focus on teacher retention and onboarding, as well as the importance of building relationships and creating a positive school culture. She highlights the use of professional learning communities and AI technology to enhance learning and student engagement. Melissa also emphasizes the value of student voice and choice in shaping the school environment. The best thing about middle school? For her, it's the chaos and creativity and the opportunity to laugh and have fun with students. So, with that, inform, influence, inspire.
Want to welcome everybody back to EP Talks. This is Andre Wicks, founder and CEO of Everyday Principal. And today we have the pleasure of talking with Miss Melissa Harvey, principal at the Bobby Summers Middle School in Rockwall, Texas. Thanks for being here, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, those of you that have been engaged with EP Talks and those that are new to listening to the show, each of the assets with Everyday Principal really is intended to be delivered in bite-sized chunks. And so we're taking into account that the life of the principal is busy. And so many of you're listening to this in your car on the commute to work, or you're squeezing it into the 2 bites of your sandwich that you get to have for lunch today, or some other time. But the podcasts are 30 minutes or less. We're trying to get in and get out with some nuggets that we can take back and apply to our school lives right away. Who knows? Maybe some of this stuff is just good for life, period. So today we have a few questions to kind of get the conversation rolling, but who knows where Melissa will take this conversation today. So I'll start off with the first question, Melissa. You've been at Bobby Summers now for a few years. What are you focused on right now that you're really proud of?
So I'm really proud of our new staff, which is hard to say because staff is to find a dedicated, talented educator right now is so hard in Texas. But we have a high turnover. We're surrounded by people that have 4-day work week staff. And so a lot of our teachers value family, which I don't mind, more than their job. And so they'll leave us. But the people we found this year, their energy and commitment are unbelievable. It's almost like we one-upped the people that left. And teacher retention or teacher onboarding, that's what I'm really excited about right now.
That's amazing. You're right. I think the world of K-12 education, if you're not taking care of your people, which is becoming increasingly difficult to take care of your people and to take care of yourself for that matter, because
Yes.
the principalship is right there in the mix of all occupations in the K-12 sector where there's a bit of a revolving door, So talk to us a little bit about, what are you doing to mitigate that influx of, in and out, that transiency for teachers, but also to keep yourself in the mix.
For sure. So what we do here is we do a 30, 60, 90-day meeting with new staff. And the 30-day happens with an AP. The 60 and 90-day happen with me. We also do the famous stay interviews at Christmas. We pretty much will do anything a teacher needs that allows them to still be professional. We don't mind jeans. We also want to have a potluck anytime that there's an event. We celebrate teachers as much as possible. We have a happy cart that goes around on Fridays, but the most part is none of that matters. If I survey all of my people, they don't care about the happy stuff. They want to laugh, they want to be given grace, and they want to be heard. And so we try to build that in to all of our conversations.
Yeah, that's huge. You're in the people business.
Yes.
You're in the people business. It's like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The most basic need is to feel belonging, to feel
Yes.
loved. So that's awesome. I think that you're on to something, Melissa. When you're authentic and consistent with your people, they tend to stick around,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I love that you're modeling that for your staff too. I just recently had a conversation with another podcast guest, Taj Jensen out of Tacoma, Washington,
Oh,
and he kind of alluded to the same thing. He said you can't take yourself too serious, and I think that's the status of our world now. Is all across sectors, there's people taking themselves way too serious, and it's actually having a harmful effect on just your quality of life. So
absolutely.
yeah. Well,
And our
you're
job will just be replaced in any second.
Yes, yeah, it's true. It's true. So make the most of it while you can, and while you still can.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you kind of went into the next question, because the things that you're proud of are replicable, and so I'm curious to know, what other moves are you making? What other leadership moves are you making to make this advance in your school at Bobby Summers?
So we've decided, because of the high turnover rate of educators, not necessarily here, that we have to oversimplify our goals and TD. We focus on PLCs by solution tree. Every year we add one more part to the situation. Like we just started with um, no show charts to begin with, and then every year we add one other piece to it. The other thing is we're capturing kids' heart district, and that makes the relationship strategy building is very the relationship building is very easy because of a simple strategy. And then the third thing is that we're pretty big on, I would say, Fundamental 5, the simple book that's like 50 pages maybe, because we feel like if a teacher, new or old, does the 5 fundamental strategies, then we've got a great teacher on our hands. And so that's all they have to focus on, those 3 things. What I love to do is like spice it up. And so whenever I'm presenting, we have a staff meeting like once a week. So on TikTok, everyone is like so fired up about edu protocols. Have you seen this?
Tell me more.
So it's a book that looks like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And what it is it takes the hard work off the teacher. So there's a protocol. And so, like, for example, so during staff meeting, say I'm going to introduce a new strategy for the CKH, capturing kids' heart. I will take an edu protocol, like a cyber sandwich is one. Okay. And on the cyber sandwich, what you do is you give them 5 minutes to read, 5 minutes to write, and then groups have to present what they learned. And so it's teaching them little bite-sized things they can use in the classroom that makes students work harder and teachers not work as hard when they're doing teaching in the classroom, and often uses technology as well. And so I try to be like the latest, greatest presenter, so they don't feel like their hour of time away from their kids is something they can take and go use in the classroom.
Yeah, that's huge. Teachers walking away from any meeting feeling like their time and commitment was valued has just lasting impacts. I think that's whether that was a conscious or subconscious move, you're definitely keeping your staff engaged, involved, feeling valued. That's how you create longevity in this profession.
Well, it creates laughter. Like one group did a song, one group did a rap, like it just made the time fly by. So it was awesome.
That is awesome. All right. You said something in your last response that made the bell go off. I am a huge PLC proponent. Our district is taking another stance, another stab at implementing PLCs district wide. We're in a large school district, the second largest school district in Washington State. We serve about 35,000 students. We have 5 high schools, 9 middle schools, 35 elementary schools, and then a handful of special program schools. And so the push to implement PLCs district wide it's a heavy lift. not only just for the sheer size of the school district, but also, considering that each school is at a different place on the continuum, right?
Mhm.
Some schools, have a staff where, the prior experience and prior knowledge is pretty significant, and then you have people that are cracking up learning by doing for the very first time. And but that being said, I always love hearing more about schools and school districts that are bought in on the PLC framework, just because I believe in it so much. You talked about simplifying things for teachers. I can't believe that Learning Tree isn't just woven into the fabric of every single school worldwide. Seriously, because what other system rests on 4 simple questions? Literally, it's like,
Absolutely.
when you're trying to figure out what are we going to do for PLCs, what is a PLC? What is a framework? What is the system? Well, when we want kids to know, how do we know if they've learned it? How do we respond if they've met standard? How do we respond if they didn't? It doesn't get any simpler than that. So I gotta know. Just talk to me. This is a
Yeah,
totally open-ended question. Whatever nuggets come out right now are just going to be value for our listeners. So tell us more about where you guys are with professional learning communities.
absolutely. The first maybe 3 years ago, what is happening is we're a high growth district. Okay. So we're building a new school every year, a new middle school, next year, a new high school, and we will be up to 5 high schools super fast. They're hoping, within the next 10 years. With all that being said, they are we started with is just have PLCs twice a week. Just have them. Okay. And then after that, they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll do a no show chart, what they need to show they knew it. And then this year, we are bringing in exemplars because you can answer the 4 questions, but like if your kid has a common assessment across 6th grade math, are they able to show it? And so that's the biggest thing that we're looking for now. And what does an exemplar look like? And does a student know what an exemplar looks like? And so every year, just adding one more step of the PLC process.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, you're going to have to come back on the show this spring and tell us all the growth that you've made.
Absolutely. And in Texas, parents find a high value in what you're rating in. And we never want to play the ratings game, but our rating system is just based on growth. And so everything we want to do is to grow a kid and grow a student and grow all grade levels. And so we're hoping that this new step will provide us some success.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a huge step. You talk about, because another conversation that we're having that's closely married to that of PLCs is around equitable grading.
Yep.
And what exactly does the grade mean? Does it actually reflect what a student knows, or to the depth of what a student knows? And so the fact that your school is it your entire district that's taken that stance on growth only?
Yes, pretty much, and on the standard. So we're calling standards performance tasks.
Okay.
And we're going to have the kid pretty much, underline the verb, circle the noun. And then after that, they will know what they have learned by the end of the lesson. And then hopefully all grades will be assigned to the performance task.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. You know this, so this is for our listeners, and then I got to hear what your response is. But for anyone that has been part of or led PLC implementation, you know that how you build your framework to respond to questions 1 and 2 is the easy part, right?
Yep.
Because a lot of that work oftentimes is done for you. Maybe you have some tweaking in there to make it unique for your particular school or school district. But where the rubber hits the road is how well you're able to respond to questions 3 and 4. In particular, even, I think, to the question around how do we respond if the student already knows it or is already meeting standards. So in your experience, how do you respond? What are some of the best ways to enrich learning?
So we are so lucky, and sometimes can be a bad word, but our district has really, really bought into AI on TreePod, Magic School AI. We have 3 software programs that they've bought, and it isn't the solution to all. But what we're noticing is on the extension activities is heaven. And so a teacher can teach to a GT roster by giving several choices, like of what kids can do. And what they are providing to show us back once they know the performance task is unbelievable. And so we're using AI at this moment to extend learning on the fly. We are also giving every teacher some question stems, right? So they can extend what they want to represent to the teacher based on their level of knowledge.
No, that's incredible. Okay, now we definitely have to have you back in the spring because I got to know how well that's going. And what a clever way to embrace AI. I remember back, gosh, probably last spring, going to one of our district's all admin meetings when Chat GPT was kind of first hitting and it was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? The kids are gonna be cheating. They're not gonna learn anything. And it's kind of like I kind of liken it to, when the calculator was introduced,
Yes.
and it's like, no, 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 just pump the brakes for a second. This is the world of K-12 education is evolving and adapting.
Hmm.
It really is. So don't be fearful of it. Take a step back, examine it. How can you actually leverage this new thing to enhance learning? It's not going to replace learning. It can enhance it. So no.
It's amazing, and our kids are running with it. It's also provided a great solution to substitutes, right? Someone has to be out for an immediate strep-like appointment. It's to come back the next day, and they're able to form a lesson that's on level and can extend to students while they're out.
Mm, that's incredible. That's incredible. Okay, I'm going to pivot a little bit here. You said that you guys started work 2 weeks ago. You're joining me. It's after work. You're still smiling. You have great energy. And so I have to know, what do you do and what can you share with others that are listening for personal development?
Well, I tell you, really, I would like to say I'm really all in on personal development. I feel like growth is the number one thing you can do as a human. But lately, I've been running because I'm going to run in Colorado, which makes me very nervous because of it's a difference in climate. And so I've
Yeah.
been running in the heat. And so what will happen is I'll go run in the heat and I'll come back and then I'm wired, right? The worst thing that I'm doing is I might be on TikTok and I see these teachers that are posting things that they love. And if it constantly is coming over, then what I do is I go and I invest in figuring it out. I've figured out that the best transparency and the best ability for people to believe in me is if I can relate on the level that they deal with every day. And so, like the EDGE protocols, I figured that out and then I bought the book and I'm studying it and then I present it in PD. And so lately, I've just found my inspiration from TikTok, which may not be the most solid answer.
No, hey, it is what it is. And if it's producing a result that you're shooting for, go for it. No,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, that kind of, that's connecting with kids at a kid level. You're getting some insight not only for professional, your own personal growth, but you're also gaining some insights into the world that your students are living in right now. Which leads me to my next question is, how do you incorporate student voice into your day-to-day activity?
So originally was in a school district close to Dallas. It was a high eco district, which here we're increasing our eco district as well. But I was at a high school and I came to middle school. And so I was in shock about how to let middle school students have a voice and choices. And so it was actually my first year goal as a principal. And I fell in love with it. And so I have several things that I do every year. There's about 6 of them. One is I have a quarterly principal lunch that's not with leaders. What it is it's like it's a Google Doc that goes out to all classes, and the first 20 to sign up goes to the first lunch, second 20 goes to the second quarter lunch. And I just ask them 10 questions. We have an activity called Bridges and Barriers, where like, what is a bridge to make us the best school in the area, and what is our barrier? And so they kind of give me feedback. It's a mix of random kids. Another thing that I do is we have clubs here on Mondays. And so students can choose what they're interested in. And then mine is food. I have a nurse that doesn't like food choices. And so we get to do clubs, and we get to see leadership opportunities come out of those, because a lot of teachers will not know how to lead a club that might be based on gaming or on maybe hair. And so students will rise to the level to lead those type of things. We also have a student grant at the end of the year. So what this looks like is it goes out, like, that time of year when you're having awards and you need like one lesson to finish the year up, but it doesn't need to count for a grade. So I send out a student grant Google Doc, and they have to work in groups of 5 to 7. And I say, what if you could put your mark on Summers Middle School? What would you do? And so they fill out this grant. They research. They have up to $500. They research what they would do, and then my PTO picks 1 or 2 of them to grant at the end of the year. Now, what's funny is it's never cost me any money, because the first year it was vending machines. Well, I just had to call the vending machine provider and say, hey, I didn't realize middle school could have vending machines. Can you please put some vending machines in my school? And they did. The second year, we have a courtyard, and they wanted like park-like outdoor games like Connect 4 and checkers. My PTO, we only had enough money. They'd only rent a grant for 1. They bought like 10 of them, all different kinds of games. And then the third year, they were really, really interested in students getting more awards at the award ceremony. So typically they get AB honor roll, perfect attendance, and then a summer strong awards that they wanted to show their wealth in awards. And so we were able to add more awards to the award ceremony at the end of the year, all based on what they want and how they could place their mark on Summers Middle School.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, if nothing else, if the only 3 minutes you listened to were those 3 minutes, you're walking away with something valuable. That's awesome. Awesome. Man, you think about, building school culture. And so often, we talk, when we talk about school culture, I feel like the conversation is, directed toward the adults, but, how students feel within your school, it has a direct impact on, how the adults are feeling. So, you have to embrace the students. You have to listen to and ask for their voice. So, the students at Bobby Summers are definitely fortunate to have you as their principal, which leads me to the last question. This is the $1 million question right here. What is the best thing about middle school for you, right? And so the people that don't work in middle school, there's all these myths about middle school. So let's take a minute here to debunk some of those myths, and let's hear about what is the best thing about it for you.
So I came from high school, and I think maybe one day I might go back to high school. But the first day at middle school, a 6th grader was crying. And I thought, what have I done? Like, what is going on? And so what I would say about the best thing about middle school is chaos and creativity. There's not a boring day. We laugh every day. My admin team and my teachers find something to laugh about, sweet spots in our day. We embrace the silly. 6th graders are often, in my mind, like elementary school students. And so sometimes they catch me off guard with how brilliant they are and how also young they are. They will, in the cafeteria, they will tell me what their favorite TikTok is and argue about their favorite flavor of cupcake. I feel like when I'm in the lunchroom, I'm made young in a moment. I also would like to say that there's some off the wall things that happen, and every day love it. I laugh with them, and we have a good time. And I can't always say that about every other day in my career.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I think that okay, these are the takeaways from this conversation. You gotta love what you're doing, and it sounds like you do. You gotta listen to the voices of your staff and your students, and you have to find time to laugh. You have
Yes,
to. You have to. You need to make this something worth waking up for and getting out of bed every single day. Make it worth it. And the great thing is, Melissa, is that everything that you've described right now, it's not a course that you take, it's not a book that you read, it's a choice. You are making conscious decisions because this is the reality. Middle school is hard.
yes,
Elementary school is hard. High school is hard. And so it is what we make of it. You got to go in with the
absolutely.
mindset that I'm going to make the best of this situation because number one, kids deserve it. Number two, I need that. I need that to have the right balance, the right, work-life balance for myself.
Absolutely. I would tell parents all the time, they take things very serious. And I'm like, their brains are just now molding, and the way we react is everything. And so a lot of times a parent will feel so much better if we just say those words to them and we let them be free to be themselves and just grow every day, just like we want them to do academically, but as a human, to be kind and great servants of the community.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right, Melissa, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for being part of EP Talks. And I mean it. I look forward to having you back on the show and sharing some of the amazing results that you've gotten this year.
You made this super easy. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care. The EP Talks podcast is brought to you by Everyday Principal, the leading learning management system for school administrators. EP Talks is one product in the suite of assets Everyday Principal has to offer. Other products include EP Collaborate and EP University. For more information how Everyday Principal can inform, influence, and inspire learning for you and your school district, contact us today at everydayprincipal.com.